The Dan Electro, which costs 200 quid, always sits in a mix better than that. It's the most incredible kind of beefy, monstrous sound.
It's a big bugger, isn't it?
Greetings, I'm Rob Chappers and welcome to Ovingdean, East Sussex, Brighton. Actually used to live here and had absolutely no idea that it was action-packed full of a beautiful recording studio in the middle of the English countryside. As it happens, at this fantastic secret recording studio, two of my buddies, Bruce and Adam from WaterBear, are recording a little bit of music, and I kind of thought, pretty good opportunity to show you some of the cool gear they've managed to amass and introduce you to two of the founders of WaterBear.
Hi everyone, I'm Bruce John Dickinson. I'm the founder director of WaterBear, and I'm also a guitar player. I was in a band called Little Angels, a band called Blow, and a band called Colour of Noise, and I've been playing since I was 14, so I've had a lifetime in music, which I'm very thankful for. We're here at Retreat Studios in Ovingdean, just outside of Brighton, and the reason we're here is we're always needing bits and pieces of music for social media posts and stuff. And I have a problem with library music. Generally it's quite expensive, hard to find exactly what you want, so sometimes it's easy to come and make your own stuff. And the other reason is at WaterBear, this is where we will be teaching the audio recording side of what we do, so it's good to hang with Ben, the engineer, because he'll be doing some of the teaching, and get a feel for the studio.
Hey everyone, it's Adam Bushell here. I've been playing drums now for 30 years. Been playing with a lot of different people, currently with a cool band called Freak Power, and at WaterBear I'm the CEO. This is from Bruce, and as you can see he seems to be totally obsessed with fruit.
There's no obsession with fruit, it's just that you've got to stay healthy.
Not that obsessed that he eats it all, but he buys a lot of it.
Adam did the Isle of Wight Festival last night, so he got in at 4 in the morning. It's part of the lifestyle of the musician, obviously. You've got to get up and, you know, you had to be here for 10 o'clock this morning, so I thought I'd get some vitamin C in him.
Adam popped over my gaff, and obviously you've seen the video, and I felt a little bit bad because there was only really room for you to set up, you know, a snare, beautiful snare, and a couple of cymbals on a stand, and then when you unleashed the beast, it was a very small beast. I thought it would be a really good idea to let people really hear you rip on a full kit, and he sounds like this.
It's got a silicon rectifier and a valve rectifier, so you can change the amount of sag. You can go from sort of 968 to 72. Every musician has to have something outside of music, and I think that we can get into a little bit of trouble with stress, anxiety, depression and all that stuff. And one of the issues is when you're growing up, music is the place you go to get away from your problems and live in the moment. However, when it becomes your job, often music becomes the source of your problems. So I think it's quite nice for people to have something else outside it, just to sort of de-stress and relax and live for the day. For me it's fishing, so I take my boat out out of Brighton, and with my mate Fishy Rob. We run, actually I'm qualified, I can take people out fishing. Within a 3-mile area we go bass fishing and we fish for everything. Brighton seas have got an amazing kind of ecology. There's huge squid, people don't realise that when they're swimming in the sea. There's monster squid, 7 different species of squids swimming off Brighton. And then what everybody wants to fish for is large bass. So the bass go up to nearly £20, but they're very rare. Oh thanks, great. The canal's just a great version of a plexi and it doesn't blow up.
It sounds like you've listened to Zappa.
Yes, very well picked up there, mate. You know, Zappa's had so many amazing players, but the king of the crop for me was Vinnie Colaiuta, and I think when he got that gig, Vinnie's gone on to say that it was such a challenge for him, and he moved over to went out. He heard Zappa was auditioning. There's a very famous story when Vinnie Colaiuta auditioned for the gig because he was coming in after Bozio. And,
God, imagine that.
Yeah, so on the auditions, he was sort of queuing up, and there was this line of drummers, and he was saying on average they were lasting about 45 seconds. I'm a sort of rock backbeat guy. I'm not a jazzer, but I've sort of depped on some big band stuff. It's not my thing at all. So those situations are always hard. But you know, you just do it. At the end of the day, I think if you understand music and you understand how things should feel, as a drummer, it's your job to make the music feel good and make the lay the time down and provide that sort of foundation for the music to build from. So I think if you've got a sensibility for doing that, then it's fine.
Black Les Paul, it's a 1978 Gibson Les Paul Custom. It's very battered, all the bits of binding have been replaced by Pedro from Brighton, who's an amazing luthier. I've had it for more than 30 years, so I grew up with the guitar. One time when we were, an artist friend of mine, we were sitting there, we were having a night out, and we went round, ended up back at his place, and he ended up scratching the paint off, and I didn't object to it. It's been like that ever since. It's got a particular sound to it because of the maple neck. I use it in conjunction with old amps like old plexis, which tend to have a little bit of sag, and I'm always trying to sound like a little bit more of an aggressive version of Brian Robertson in Thin Lizzy on Live and Dangerous. Is a new music college. We're based in Brighton. You can study online or by distance or on site or a mixture of all that. So the WaterBear courses are very flexible. We do a BA Honours in commercial music, and a lot of people major and focus on guitar playing. Obviously guitar is very close to our hearts. And we also do Masters qualifications, and that's perhaps for people who've been around the block a little bit, got a bit of professional experience, and we help people who've got that music background write it up and come out with letters after the name. And the reason the college is called WaterBear is WaterBear is a little tiny creature. Its Latin name is tardigrade, and the defining characteristic is it's indestructible, and that's what we want for the college, but we also want it for your career.
I think people are very busy, focused with what they want to do, more so than ever before, because knowledge is out there. Knowledge is free. If you want to look at anything, if you want to work out how to do anything, you look on the internet.
Music education has changed a lot over the years. I've been involved in writing degrees for guitar players and modern musicians for over 20 years now. And since that time, music education's got huge. And the colleges do a great job, but they're a slightly, I suppose you'd call it if not a victim of their own success, there is a symptomatic thing where they just get bigger and bigger and bigger as everyone wants to join the party. And Adam and Mark and I really felt there was a huge vacuum for a college that would go back to the values we had when we first started, where we almost knew every student by name. We were very selective on the people that came in, and it was a bespoke education.
We've got a premises in Brighton, so people can come to study at WaterBear in Brighton, so on campus, or they can do it via distance. So we're validating a distance learning BA, which means wherever you are in the world, you can get a piece of this action, and you can get involved with what's happening at WaterBear. So it's very exciting for us because we've not done that before.
Bruce very kindly arranged / organised for me to have a bunch of these beautiful looking pedals.
Yeah. Richie Blackmore, Machine Head. Andy Powell, Wishbone Ash, but that's very Schenker. That's the Schenker one. Now this one's got, they're made by hand, darker or toppy kind of thing going on.
Are all three of these for me to try?
Yeah, they're for you.
That's amazing.
It's that Clapton kind of thing, cream sort of era. In the days, say about 1965, if you want to give your amp a little bit of a kick and a giddy up, originally I think the guitar players started digging out and making preamps out of things like radios and tape recorders and stuff like that. Basically it's just a little preamp. But I think the first one to be commercially available was one called the Range Master, which Clapton used to use. And not only did it give your amp a bit of a poke, but it was sort of voiced your guitar in a particular way, and usually a bit like stepping on your wah-wah.
Right.
That sort of thing.
So like a shelve on the bottom end and a bit of a mid spike.
Yeah, so by sort of Hendrix era 68, you'd hear two distinct distorted guitar sounds. You'd hear the fuzzy fuzz face kind of thing. You'd also hear this more pure, like kind of Rory Gallagher kind of thing, where the amp's just being pushed a bit harder. And I really liked that type. So early Judas Priest, Michael Schenker, the amps didn't have master volume, so they ragged the amp hard so it was loud, distorted like I do. But then I think it just hammers the preamp valves a little bit when a lot when you whop it with a treble booster. Very interestingly, as you turn your pot down, you get more top. It's a bit like having a capacitor. In the 80s, guys used to put capacitor into the pot, make the amp more brittle and clearer. But this is nicer. It's very musical. You turn it down, the guitar has this bell-like clarity in the mix. So you hear it on people like Ron Wood, Early Faces. They just left them on. So there's no LED on the pedal. Yeah. It's a stomp box. You switch it on, leave it, forget about it. Not too noisy, and then everything's on your pot then. No channel switch. Cleans, back it off, dirties, whack it up.
You're a tone smith, aren't you? You're all about, for you, the tone has to be an exact particular way.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm noticing this a bit.
It's a minority view. so I get myself into trouble because I've learned that, it works for me, but it doesn't mean it's necessarily right for other people.
Yeah.
And I have learned that one thing about my rig is it's relatively slow, so it does the Paul Kossoff, the Brian May thing. But modern players, they go into my rig and it flaps on the bottom end too much.
It's got a bit of sag to it.
Yeah. And that's with the old amps. They often had a valve rectifier, and on my amps I've got a switch for silicon and valve. So for an old Marshall, like a Plexi type 4 input, I think I'm right in saying, and someone will correct me in the comments, I'm sure if I've got it wrong, but they when Marshall developed the Super Lead after the JTM 45, it tightens up slightly, and I think it's the silicon rectifier, because when I flick my switch on my Plexi to go to silicon rectifier, bottom end just tightens up a bit. And that trend has remained in amps till you get stuff like the Victory amps these days, very fast, very responsive.
Yeah, it's immediate. Yeah. Well, I really like your tone, because when I listen to your tone, it's like my ears have gone back in time to the early 70s to listen to some cranked up Lizzie. And what I appreciate about your playing is that for you, the tone and the playing are kind of one thing.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's a DW Collector's Series Maple drum kit. Finishes marine oyster, which is a pretty funky finish. Sizes 22, 10, 12, 14, 16, and it's an absolute beast. And I've had that kit now for 18 years. I've really looked after it, and I absolutely love it. I'm not a vintage drum guy. It doesn't mean to say I don't like vintage drums. I do love vintage drums. I love all drums, but those DW drums are absolutely stunning. So an area of my playing technique that some people might find is a little bit unusual or took a long time to, well, it took me a long time to develop, is that I play my left hand, I play traditional grip, which is me, you know, I grip the stick in a sort of like what a lot of people might look at and say it's a sort of military kind of style, which really it is. It's an old marching way of playing, so you get your left hand over the top of the drum and play it. Most people may play match grip. I do play match grip now and again, but I really wanted to learn traditional grip because all my heroes played traditional grip. Dave Weckl, Steve Gadd, Nicola Utah, Tony Williams, all those guys. They're all traditional guys. And I think also with the tradition of the instrument, you get a lot of drummers that say traditional grip, it's not designed to be played on a modern drum kit. It's for it, the reason for it coming into being was the old left hand over the top for the marching drummers, but I just love the tradition of it, and I play a technique that is called the Moella system, which I learned from my teacher, long-time teacher Bob Armstrong, who sadly passed away last year, and I spent many years working on that technique with Bob. So and I'm very glad I did, because I wouldn't swap that for the world now. It's served me so well. What WaterBear are trying to do is to create an environment where you're getting the knowledge, but you're also applying it and knowing how to use it and integrating it into what it is that you do. So it's not putting your life on hold to study, it's basically amplifying what you do in your life by studying.